Tell me if this story sounds familiar. You go to law school, you know exactly what you have to do. You want to become a lawyer, and all your courses are set out for you, and you know what you have to do. You know you need to get a piece of paper that entitles you to be a lawyer, and then you probably need to do some form of practical legal training. And then, of course, you become a lawyer, and all your goals are complete, and you know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to go to work, and you're going to work hard as a lawyer. But then something starts to happen, because I'm assuming you're hardworking. I'm assuming that you know what you're doing, or you're learning what you're doing, and you're smart and you're articulate. But over the next few years, what you realise is, in fact, you are now just doing day-to-day work. You've in fact lost that sense of purpose, that end goal, that direction that you had initially when you were doing your law studies. Why does that happen? Well, there's a few names for it. Michael Hyatt, in one of his books, calls it drift. I've heard it called erosion. But ultimately what it is this overwhelming sense of a lack of purpose. Purpose is ultimately what has to keep us going in our day-to-day work. And if you don't have that sense of purpose, what you end up doing is just turning up each day, working hard, going home and thinking, is this actually all there is to it? Is this all I have to look forward to in my legal career? Or is there something more? Is there something greater that I can be looking at doing? And that's what addressing this sense of drift really has to do. And it's called drift, or it's called erosion, because it happens incrementally. It's not like you wake up one day and go totally off the rails. It happens gradually. It happens as you accumulate extra things in your life that you don't really have any value for. It happens as you take on more responsibility of things that you actually aren't that interested in. And it happens as you realize that you haven't said no to anything in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And then all of a sudden, 5 years down the track, you actually have no clue what you're doing, why you're there, where you're headed, or what it is you actually want out of your legal career. That is what drift is about. All of a sudden you are somewhere where you don't recognize, you didn't intend to get there, and you're just sort of floating aimlessly out at sea so far as your career, your prospects, and sometimes your personal life are concerned. And so what I want to encourage you to do today is actually take some control back. Figure out where you are, but identify where you actually want to be. Because that sort of process of getting that first step underway of thinking, why is it I want to be a lawyer? Where is it I want to be in a couple of years? And how can I start working towards that? Is a way of reclaiming that sense of purpose and that sense of direction. Because if you just turn up at work each day and hope that things are going to get better, then it's probably not going to happen. It might not. But if you want to avoid that sense of a lack of purpose and a lack of clear direction in your life, then you actually need to do something about it. You don't just wake up one day with all of these issues having happened. They creep up on you. They are gradual. No one thing has caused you to be where you are. It is a series of decisions, and it is a series of deciding to do one thing or deciding not to do another thing that has led you to where you are now. And if you want to get out of that, you're going to need to make a series of decisions too. And I'm going to go through in a few more videos and address some of those as well. But for the moment, I just wanted to say to you, if you're drifting, if you feel like you actually can't reclaim that sense of purpose in your career, and if you feel like you are not somewhere where you have deliberately and consciously decided to end up, then perhaps you need to start making some better decisions, and perhaps you need to really start to address that sense of drift. I'm going to take at it a bit more in a few more videos and have a look at some of those things we can do and some strategies we can put into place. But that's it for this video. Identify the drift, be aware of it, be aware of where you are in your career versus where you expect it to be or where you want it to be, and we're going to start targeting in on some of the causes for that in some future videos. I'll see you next time, and in the meantime, happy lawyering.